turn this over to the governor now, and I want to just say a couple of things because I'm running out of time to introduce him in terms of the years that we've worked together. I want you to know that this grant obviously means a lot to Rutgers and to the people who work here. But I want to point out to you just 3 or 4 things. First, the absolutely seminal role that Governor Christie played in restructuring our healthcare education here in New Jersey. If you think back 6 years ago, there wasn't any healthcare at Rutgers. We couldn't have done this. We couldn't have done so many things that we're doing now. Governor Christie.
Well, thank you. Welcome to everybody. I'm glad you're here. This is a great day for Rutgers and for the state of New Jersey as well, and for our fight to try to deal with this disease of addiction. I want to thank the president first. I'll have some things to say about him at the end as well, but for him being here today, for his leadership here. I was this morning at a place called Daytop Village in Mendham. It's an adolescent drug treatment facility in Mendham, New Jersey. It's been in existence for 25 years now. And I went this morning for their holiday event where you get to interact with the young men and women who are there undergoing treatment right now to try to deal with this disease. And I told all of them this morning that, you know, I truly believe that every life is an individual gift from God. And that no matter what condition you find that life in, it is still a gift from God. And sometimes those lives are broken, and they're in tatters, and a disease like addiction will do that. But it makes that life no less valuable. That's why it's so heartbreaking to know that 175 people a day are dying in this country over addiction. I want you to understand the scope of that. That's a 9/11 every 2.5 weeks. Every 2.5 weeks. Think about this. If a terrorist organization had infiltrated this country and was killing 175 Americans a day, every day, how much do you think we'd pay to make it stop? How united would the country be to end the suffering and the dying? Yet we're doing this to ourselves, internally, and we don't show the will to make it stop. That's why I believe so much in the idea of treatment, because I'll ask this group the same thing I asked the group this morning. There was a whole bunch of people there, benefactors and supporters of Daytop. Raise your hand if you've never made a bad judgment. Same result everywhere, right? We've all made bad judgments. The difference with me and Barchi is that all our bad judgments are on the front page of the newspaper. And all of you don't have to necessarily suffer the same fate, but it doesn't matter. We've all made bad judgments in our life. The difference is, for so many of us, we are fortunate that that bad judgment didn't involve taking drugs. But it doesn't make that bad judgment any worse than some of the bad judgments we've made. And it should not allow us to make a moral judgment on the people who made that bad judgment and to make them carry that moral stain on them for the rest of their lives. They made a bad decision there, but for the grace of God go I. Rutgers has been a leader long before I got here in dealing realistically and effectively with this issue. And Dr. Barchi's right. You know, since our time in merging our healthcare systems and education systems and our restructuring of the higher ed system in the state, it's made Rutgers and its expertise even more available to people not only around the state but around the country and around the world. I was proud to chair the President's Commission on the opioid crisis, and I used in that national report Rutgers as an example, especially its recovery housing program, as what should be a model for the rest of the nation. We shouldn't make it harder, given what the typical college atmosphere is, no matter what, regarding the use of substances. We should make it harder for those who are in recovery to get their education. We should give them a safe place for them to be able to follow their path of recovery while they're getting a world-class education at Rutgers. We know that the need for substance abuse and behavioral counselors is going to increase by more than 20% over the next 10 years because of this crisis. We're going to need more and more people. So how do we get there? Last July, we announced a pilot program with Rutgers and our Department of Labor to set up a drug counseling certification and apprenticeship pilot program. And we're doing 10 case managers at a place called Homeless Solutions in Morristown, which is an extraordinary place. They do a great job in helping the homeless, and as Dr. Barchi said, there is often co-occurring issues, mental health, addiction, that lead to homelessness. I'm proud this administration has reduced homelessness more than any administration in the last 50 years in the state. And one of the reasons we've reduced it is our focus on mental health and addiction services. And so this is another step in that direction. So we're now going to take that pilot program that we put in one small place and we're going to put it statewide with a commitment of, as he said, over $4 million to work with expanding this entire basic skills program all the way throughout the state. New Jersey Healthcare Talent Development Center at Rutgers will launch the nation's first ever statewide apprenticeship program for certified alcohol and drug counselors. First one in the nation. As a result, Rutgers and its employer partners will be providing free training for 200 new certified counselors. While other institutions offer similar training, this grant makes Rutgers the only one in America to do so through an Earn While You Learn apprenticeship program. Apprentice counselors will receive 270 hours of classroom instruction on the science of addiction, counseling techniques, crisis intervention, case management, addiction recovery, while mastering the 45 state-mandated CADC core competencies, as well as receiving 3,100 hours of carefully supervised on-the-job training. These apprentices who successfully complete the program and pass the exam will be qualified to work as certified alcohol and drug counselors in addiction treatment centers and community health centers and hospitals and other direct care settings across the state of New Jersey. Graduates may elect to further their education by pursuing a bachelor's or a master's and potential licensure as a licensed clinical alcohol and drug counselor, and they can do all of that here at our state's university. As drug counselors, these employees will be on the front lines of this epidemic. They'll be the ones who will be reaching a hand out and providing hope to people who are truly hopeless when they're in the throes of this disease. More importantly, they'll also learn. The apprentices and ultimately the fully certified counselors will learn from those they're helping about perseverance, about fighting through a disease like this and coming out on the other side a more whole person and restoring their lives. I want to thank the Labor Commissioner, Commissioner Fichtner, for his commitment to this. When we got this pilot program underway, I grabbed him that day and said, all right, we have to find more money. We've got to do this all over the place. We have to do this across the whole state. So we went and found more money to do it. And I want to thank President Barchi for his commitment to making Rutgers everything that it can and should be. I remember when I first met him, when we were interviewing folks for the new president of Rutgers, and I met him at the governor's residence in Princeton. And we had, I think, looking back on it, it surprised me even more how extraordinarily frank our conversation was that day. And it helped to set the foundation for our relationship over all these years. You know, I was kind of wondering, you know, why he wanted to move from Jefferson, where he was, to come and take on this challenge at Rutgers. And he was kind of wondering why I thought he'd even want to do it. Now, this is an academic community, so I'm sure there's a diversity of opinion on that issue, as there should be. And he's never shied away from that. The same way he's never shied away from making the tough decisions that needed to be made here to make this an even better place. And no one, I believe, can objectively argue that Rutgers is not a better institution today than it was the day that Bob Barchi walked in the door. Yes, we also had a shared vision on, one of the things he said to me is we've got to improve and expand the physical plant at Rutgers here in New Brunswick, across the state in Newark and Camden as well. We have to do better for our students. And we have to do better for our faculty. And if I had told you 5 years ago that between the state of New Jersey, Rutgers philanthropists, and the hard work of everybody here, that in 5 years we would add $5 billion in physical improvements to Rutgers University, I know that the skeptics on this campus would have said, baloney, no chance. Yet it is happening around you. You see it everywhere. And in every different discipline. That's been his vision. When we did the Building Our Future Bond Act, I went to him and said, Rutgers is our state university. Rutgers will benefit most from this bond issue if it's passed. Tell me, give me your wish list of what Rutgers needs and what Rutgers alums and other supporters are willing to support. He did, and together with the state, we delivered. And that's part of what makes today possible too, because of our expanded physical plant, which leads to expanded educational and teaching opportunities, which leads to opportunities to partner with the private sector in the state like this. So I'm hoping to do a couple more things at Rutgers before I go. But if I don't, I want everyone to know here how fortunate I feel as the son of a Rutgers alum, which he reminds me all the time, that he went here. This is where the first person in my family got a college education. He worked at the Breyers ice cream plant in Newark during the day, and as a veteran, went to Rutgers at night for 7 years to get his degree in accounting. And my first picture on the Rutgers campus was at his graduation. He always called it our first family picture. And as my father in his cap and gown at Rutgers getting his degree in accounting, and my mother 6 months pregnant with me. That was my first visit to Rutgers. And so this is a very special place to me. And I promised my dad, in addition to a lot of other people, that if I got the chance to be governor, I would make sure that I did everything I could to make Rutgers better and to make the state proud of our state university. And there is not a better state university in America than this one. And we haven't even gotten started yet in what will be coming in the future because of all these investments. So I want to thank him for his leadership. He's an extraordinary leader. He's got a great vision for this university, and I hope that his leadership continues well beyond my time as governor, because he's done a great job. And for all of you who are going to participate and support this program that we're here to talk about today, he's right. This is what I hoped Rutgers would continue to grow in, is to use your expertise to be able to improve the lives of the people of this state. That's what a great university does in part. Not only educates young men and women, and older men and women, it not only provides great academic research and scholarship, but it also makes its community a better place by the synergy that occurs on a college campus, the collision of ideas that helps to create a healthy, growing, vital environment in all the places that it touches. The men and women that you all are going to help through this program will do things that we can never even imagine. When you restore their health to them through this counseling, they will accomplish great things also. Make our communities and our state a better place. and, even more importantly, once again become functioning mothers and fathers, sisters and brothers, and sons and daughters to their families. And we know that makes us a better state. And it makes us better people. So your work in this area, I believe, truly is God's work here on earth to help restore life and to give it meaning again and purpose for those who are suffering from an awful disease. So for Rutgers, I can't thank you enough for your willingness to be in this partnership. I'm glad to provide some of the money to make it happen. And hopefully to continue, I hope, in the next administration, to keep the focus on the fact that over 2,200 New Jerseyans died last year of a drug overdose, and it didn't have to happen. And the more we can bring those numbers down, the better our state's going to be. So I thank you all for coming today. I thank you for the work that you've already done and the work that I know you will do under this program and lots of others to set a real example at Rutgers University for the rest of the people of the state of New Jersey. Thank Dr. Barchi for his leadership on this and so many other things. And thank the taxpayers of the state, because in the end, it's their money. And I think this is one, even in a state like ours, that tends to be a little edgy. Even in this one, this would bring a tear to people's eye. That they knew that their money was being used to help to save their neighbors' children, their co-workers' children, and in some cases their own children, from a disease that could end their lives. So thank you all for being here today. I appreciate it very much. Let's get to work and let's start restoring health to the people of our state who need it so desperately. Thank you all very much.